So once you've chosen your photos, how do you pick your designer series paper or what colors you're going to use? Hello, my name is Amanda Farlinger with From Where I Stamp near Kingston, Ontario, Canada. And I help women tell their story and capture memories through scrapbooking. So tune in, sit with me. We're going to do a scrapbook layout today. So these photos are of Griffin when he was a baby, like, I don't know, he was born in March, May, and this is like July. So just a couple months old. And he's sleeping on his back in his kennel while I was at work. Family business, took the dog to work, which was awesome. So I went looking to see what designer series paper I have that could work for a layout. And first I started with the To Market designer series paper in the annual catalog. And I find that either I'll pull out the paper, but then I got to pull it out of the bag that I have it in, zipper bag, and then see if there's a page that or design I like. And so I figured that I could use the catalog kind of in the same way, a little bit quicker. So I stuck the photos. You could do this with the online store too. So if you don't have the paper yet and it's not in the catalog, because we do have some online exclusive designer series paper. So I held it up here and I'm like, well, the wood green might work and the purple might work, but it wasn't quite right. So then I pulled out my mini catalog and went, okay, how about this? So we have the Season of Elegance designer series paper. And I'm like, oh, well, that I like the gold. I'm not usually one for gold, but yes, Flynn, he wants to play. So anyway, I figured these photos would work best with this designer series paper. All right, so that's one way that I choose what designer series paper is going to go with photos. Sometimes I'll start with a designer series paper and then find photos that I think will work. Other times I'll do that. I'll take my photos and go looking through my drawer of designer series paper to figure out which ones would be best. And then I choose my favorite, or maybe I'll look at the stamp set and bundle. So there's a couple different things I'll do for this when choosing a designer paper for my photos. So next up is the colors. So he is brown, so early espresso. The colors in the designer series paper was Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock. What is that new color called? It's also on the sticker, which is awesome. So if you have it, the colors are listed there. So basic beige, that's the new kind of neutral color. There's Cherry Cobbler, Crumb Cake, Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, Real Red, and Gold. So I pulled out some of those colors. Like I pulled out the Gray Granite and the basic beige and early espresso because that wasn't one of the colors, but because he's chocolate Cocker Spaniel, I figured that might work. So I decided by pulling through my paper, so this the designer series paper. So it has gold highlights in different kind of looks. So like speckled and yes, Flynn, all this, oh, you can't see that. And then the back is a plain design. Not plain, I shouldn't say plain because it does have a design to it, but it doesn't have any gold on the back. So then here is the back. So it's really pretty. And it's something that you can use for Christmas or holidays or winter celebrations or for dogs. So we're going to use Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, basic beige, and early espresso for this layout. I know, Flynn. I'll play with you in a few minutes. All right. So I have some pieces already ready to go. If you want to see some of the setup it's taken me to get to this point, I'll be posting this on Instagram, so make sure to head over there. I also asked Tales of a Tired Pup. I already have them cut out here. I did ask in my Instagram stories earlier this week about what title I should put on with these photos. And it was a tie between two, but I decided to go with Tales of a Tired Pup. So we'll finish that, putting that together. All right, so I have a piece of the basic beige and gold here, ready to go. And I've already put photo mats on my photos. So I have Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock here. And then when I was putting this kind of together, I felt that it needed another layer, but I already had put the dimensionals on the back of this piece. So I figured that I could just put a piece of basic beige right there. So we have the mini alphabet dies here. And that's what I've used to cut out my title. So what I did was I wrote out, do I still have it? I wrote out Tales of a Tired Pup on a piece of paper, like Tales of a Tired Pup, that many different lines. And then as I cut these out, which I put the adhesive sheet on the back here of the letter. Flynn, lie down. So the adhesive sheet's on the back of the letter, well, back of the cardstock before I put it through the Stampin' Cut and Die machine. And then I cut out all the letters so that I have extras for later. And then I just needed an extra P. And that's all I needed so I had to do 2 runs through the die cutting machine. All right, so we're going to do some stamping and coloring. So I did some searching on Pinterest. I love going to Pinterest. If you're not following me on Pinterest, the link will be below. Go over, have a follow. And we're going to use the Doggone Friendly stamp set. And I don't know why I'm all blurry, but that's okay. So we're going to use this stamp set tonight. And it's a background stamp, which means that it's a large stamp. So you need, and it's a cling mount. So you need a cling block, a big one, to stamp it nicely. And I find that there's 2 different ways you can ink up the stamp. One, you can open this up and just go smush, 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 smush. And that works pretty good. But sometimes I'll end up getting my fingers dirty doing it that way. So here we have the brayer. Stampin' Up! Has a brayer. And I do find this gets a little sticky. So I did keep the plastic bag that it came in. And you don't have to worry about getting ink on the whole thing. So you want to hold your ink pad. And then, oops, I don't want to get ink on me. And we just want to roll this on here. And I go kind of both, oops, see, ink on the table. I kind of go both ways. So kind of go this way to get the top. And this way to get the bottom edge. And this way to get the side. And this way to get this side. So you want as much as possible inked up. And then I didn't realize this, and I think I used this for one video, the, what is it called again? Stampin' Brayer. And I put it down, and it got ink all over my table, like here. Well, these, it has like little feet, so you can see like these here are sticking up. So when you put it down on your table like this, it doesn't get ink on your table. Now, you could clean this with this chamois, but I would find that the chamois would get a lot dirtier. So I just rinse this under water and then use the chamois afterwards. Okay, so get rid of this so I don't get ink everywhere. Good enough. All right, put the ink away. And then what we're going to do is, I find it's best to stamp the larger blocks with some kind of like a pad of some sort. Usually you can get a pretty good stamp with these ones because they're cling. They already have that foam in there. But because it's such a big stamp, I find it's easier. And then I already pre-cut mine earlier. I have mine all kind of ready to go because I was able to actually get it to line up fairly well. So you want to pull straight up, set that off to the side. So there is our big background stamp with all the dogs, which are just so cute. Hey, Flynn, are all the dogs cute? I know, you want attention. And you're going to come up and say hi, are you? No, off. All right. So what I did with mine is, like I said, I went to Pinterest for ideas. And I came across this one demo who had, I don't think it was Pretty Peacock. I think it was a different color of cardstock, and they used it for a card. But I really loved how they highlighted some of the dogs. So what I've done is I pulled out the white and the early espresso out of the watercolor pencils. So I keep mine in a stamp case, and I just cut this off for the colors, so I knew what colors they were. And then all I've done is, like for the early espresso, I've just gone in and colored some of the collars, some of the bandanas, the bone, I think just the collars, bandanas, and the bone. Oh, and this this one here, I thought on when I saw it was a pipe that was sticking out of the dog's mouth. It's actually a rope. So I don't know why I would think a dog would be having a pipe in its mouth, but whatever. All right, so the white, you can try. So I tried on the back here different thicknesses, darknesses of the white, and for some of the dogs, it was better to do a light touch. And I also found that because it's a pencil and kind of watercolory, you can use your finger to kind of smush it a bit to take some of the color off. And we'll just add some color along here. And so there we have our dogs with some shading on them. So we'll have a little bit more dimension on our scrapbook layout. We'll put this away. Okay, so that's our stamping. And now we can put this layout together. All right, so let's do these 3 pieces and glue them all together. Now, if you wanted to, you could cut out the center of this or even the early espresso to save kind of the bulkiness of the layout, or even to reuse those pieces. Lie down, Flynn. It's very apt that he wants to play when I'm doing not a page about him, but a page about dogs. Griffin's over there fast asleep. He doesn't want to play. All right, so then we put this right on top and just center it. Kind of, sort of, not really, but close enough. And then we'll take this and put some glue on the back of it too. I don't know if you noticed, but this one was kind of crooked when I stamped it. So it has a larger spot up here versus down here. So instead of cutting another piece, I just flipped it over and stamped on this side. And this stamp is kind of designed to do this long strip, or at least I feel like it's kind of designed to do the long strip, because the top up here, see, that looks kind of like a Frisbee, and the Frisbee's here being held by this dog. So the ear of the Cocker Spaniel is down here. So I was kind of able to line them up, but most of it here is going to be covered up, so you really won't see it when the layout's all done. All right, so we're going to talk tips about doing a title. So you can use either die cut images or die cut letters, like the mini alphabet dies. You could also use a stamp set and stamp them like classic letters. The other alternative is you could do sentiments, like the More Wishes stamp set, and just stamp your sentiment on the top. So those are 3 options to do titles on your page. And for me, it really depends. I don't care how big my title is, as long as it kind of matches the theme. So I really appreciate everyone who voted on Instagram. I didn't like Tales of a Tired Pup when I put it in. I gave 3 options. I can't remember what the other 2 are at the moment, but I gave 3 options. And yeah, this one, and my mind is not working at the moment. So there was two that were at 50-50. So, okay. So what we're doing, grab our letter. And Flynn wants to know what I'm doing because he's just standing here watching me going, is that something I can eat, Mom? No. All right. So I'm using a ruler. Woo! I don't want that thing in the middle. I'm using a ruler to help me keep things kind of straight-ish. Come on. There we go. Kind of straight-ish. And I did the top first. I don't usually push the letters down all the way when I'm first putting them down, just in case I have to move them if my spacing's off a little bit. I'll usually put the bottom down right against the ruler. All right. Is that, no, that one came out. Okay. Okay, that spacing's all wrong. So let's move this over a little bit. Oopsie. That one over a little bit. There, I like that better. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. There we go. And then you just want to smush it all down. I thought about maybe doing like a banner kind of cut here, but then when I put it on the layout, it kind of was center right there. So I'm like, you know what? We're just not. We're going to make it a full right across the page, not showing the piece over here, but that's fine. Oh, yes. I wanted to add, I need to get some ribbon. I don't usually add ribbon or twine to a layout. I find that it adds bulk to my layouts, but I kind of wish, some of the cards I found on Pinterest, they had some pretty ribbon, and I kind of wish I had ribbon. So the photos are going to go something like here. And I know they've kind of covered up most of the dogs that I colored in the middle. I didn't think that one through, but we want this to go right about here, I think. So we're going to use some tear tape and just tape that down. And we're going to wrap this, I think, 3 times. We'll see how this looks. 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll just put our things here. What do we want this to look like? Maybe a little bit closer together. And maybe 4. We'll do that. Oops, oops. Got my tear tape wrapped up in my twine. All right. So now we can put this up here. Cut that off. So now we have a little bit more dimension on the bottom of our page there. Excuse me. All right, so now we're going to put some glue on the back of this first. Glue that all up. So what way, let me know in the comments, what way do you like to start your layouts? Do you pick your photos first, like I do, or what I prefer to do? Or do you make a layout based on what's, like, maybe following a sketch or a workshop kit or something like that? Or like which one do you like to, or make your own layout and then add the photos later once you print them? I'd love to know what you like to do. I find if I make a layout without photos, I never go back to add the photos. I stick them up there in the albums behind me, and I have some more over there, and then I just don't go back. All right, get in there. Need a more. All right. There we go. All right, so we have these photos, and then I also have some journaling, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to add the journaling to the layout, but I figured if I stuck it behind this photo, so let's put the photo on the mat. And we'll do this. Something like that. And I don't know if you can hear Griffin, but now he's like, I want attention now too. Griffin, this layout is about you, buddy. Yeah, it is. All right, so I designed the, you really can't see it. I'm sorry if it's blurry. I don't know why it's recording it blurry, if it turns out that way. But what I did was I had this piece left over from cutting this photo mat. So what I did was I just stuck it under here going, well, where do I want the journaling to go before I cut this piece up? And I'm like, you know what, let's just grab the marker, the Stampin' Write marker, and let's write out some words and see and kind of use the photo mat there and kind of at a diagonal edge. And then that way, when I go to put the layout together, I can figure out where that diagonal is going to be. So I can put this piece down, and you can trim down the cardstock too. But we can figure out kind of if this goes right here, kind of sort of get it squarish. And then we can put the photo there, and then the other photo we can stick over here. Isn't he just so cute? He would lie on his back at work, being so cute. I love that I was able to take him to work with me rather than leaving him home all day for 9 hours, 8.5 hours. And so that is bonus. And then when we had Flynn this year, I worked from home. So Flynn got to fall asleep and kennel right close to me too. All right, so we're going to put that kind of like this, I think. There, I like that. Yes, Griffin. So where? Oh, right there. I'm trying to find my tweezers. So that is our layout. I'll show you a close-up of the words. Tales of a Tired Pup. And another good reason to write it out is I had it TIRDE. And I would have put them down like that. And I would have had to fix it. And then journaling with the photos. And then some of the detail of the doggies too. All right, so now to finish off the layout, we are going to add some embellishments. So these are the adhesive back sparkle gems. And I thought the sparkle gems were a good fit. This is more coppery than gold. So I think I'll just use the black and the silver, but it'll still work. Adding some sparkle to a layout, especially when it has some gold highlights, is fun to do. And then I just randomly put them in different places. And there's different sizes too. So there's smaller dots at the top and larger ones at the bottom. Oops, I did not want to stick down. And this one goes here. Let's add some larger silver ones right up here. Oops. $10 points for the dogs for being very vocal tonight. All right, if you have doggies at home, I bet you know what I'm talking about. And especially with the time change. All right, so what do we think? All the products I've used to create this layout will be in the description below. So if you live in Canada, would like to purchase this from me, the products, you can do that with that link. And then make sure to follow me over on Pinterest for ideas. That's where I love going to find ideas, and I put in the stamp set, and it Pinterest just gives me ideas for things, and then I can take those cards or even scrapbook layout ideas and put them onto my own scrapbook layouts. So we will see you next time. Happy stamping!